For decades, we've been told The Way We Were is the ultimate tragic romance. A couple so in love, but just too different to last. But rewatch it without the nostalgia goggles, and it's less meant to be, but couldn't, and more The Way She Wish. A love story edited in Katie's head, where she bends reality, and sometimes herself, just to keep her prized Hubble. So what's missing? And why it doesn't quite add up unless you ignore a few glaring red flags. Welcome to Real Talk, where we spill the tea on movies and all the madness in between, with wit, sass, and zero sugarcoating. The Way We Were isn't your average boy meets girl. It's the late 1930s, college days, Katie Morosky, Barbara at full firebrand mode, falling headfirst for Hubble Gardner, Robert Redford's blonde golden boy, who basically came out of the womb with charm, talent, and privilege. She's the one marching, shouting, writing manifestos. He's the one gliding through life like it's all been gift-wrapped. She knows he's out of her league, but when fate drops him back in her lap years later, she won't let go. They fall in, marry, and for a while it looks like maybe opposites really do attract. But here's the rub. Her politics clash with his ease, her intensity bruises his detachment, and the Hollywood blacklist drives the final wedge. By the end, she's pregnant, he's checked out, and what's left isn't a fairy tale. It's nostalgia, compromise, and one of the most haunting theme songs ever written. On paper, it's perfect. Opposites attract, sparks fly, but differences detonate. Classic, the kind of story Hollywood eats up. But watch it today, and you're left scratching your head. Plot holes, emotional gaps, and yet it was sold as the great romance of its time. Why? It wasn't just the song, though let's be real, that theme still slaps. And sure, Redford's face was basically a national monument. The real reason? It was the vibe. Early 70s Hollywood was still hungover from the film Love Story, 1970, which had set the standard for tragic romance as the ultimate box office tearjerker. By the time Streisand and Redford arrived, audiences were primed for another we love each other but can't be together saga. Logic didn't matter, the ache was the aesthetic, and this film delivered it. Soft focus close-ups, swelling violins, and two impossibly glamorous leads. But here's the catch. The Way We Were implies two people equally aching for the past. Look closer, though. It's mostly Katie's story, her nostalgia, her edits. Hubble? He's charming, sure, but emotionally checked out half the time. It's not their memory, it's hers. Katie, on paper, is a principled, uncompromising activist who refuses to be silenced in public life. But privately, especially with Hubble, she bends herself into emotional pretzels to keep him. Her whole identity is being the smartest person in the room, the one who works harder and cares more. Then comes the gut punch. The scene where the professor praises Hubble's writing as spot on. Katie, who's built her identity around intellect and hard work, realizes he doesn't have to grind. He has the gift, the privilege, and the world ready to hand him success. Her tearing up her own writing isn't just frustration. It's her recognizing she'll never be his equal in the eyes of the world, not even in the one arena she thought was hers. That's why her hair becomes the biggest truth teller in the film. Curly, unapologetic, Jewish hair in college? That's her full self. Straightened hair in her Hubble years? That's her smoothing herself to fit into his world. When she says she ironed her hair, it's not just beauty maintenance, it's code. I remodeled myself to belong in your world. And in the final scene, the curls return. She's back to herself. Older, wiser, sadder, but herself again. And here's where the contradiction bites. The activist who will bulldoze through a room for her principles suddenly turns into the doting domestic when it comes to him. She cooks, she fusses, she folds herself into the role of perfect housewife. There's nothing wrong with doing things for someone you love, but for Katie, it's ironic. She fights the world on stage but swallows her fire at home. It's the most glaring proof of how love, or obsession, makes her compromise the very equality she demands in every other corner of her life. Katie bends, and not just a little. She swallows her firebrand convictions and maneuvers herself into place where Hubble has no choice but to pick her. It's not just love, it's obsession with a man she thinks is out of her league. Blonde, privileged, gifted. The golden boy who doesn't have to sweat for what she bleeds for. And the lengths she goes to? Not always romantic. Sometimes they're desperate, even manipulative. When Hubble comes back from the war, too drained to fight, he crashes in her bed. Katie slips in beside him, naked. Not seduction, but strategy. Silent persuasion. Her last currency. Access. A deleted scene even makes it clearer. Hubble wakes up, confused, awkwardly leaves, while Katie cooks him breakfast, irons his uniform, slipping into wifey mode, hoping it'll impress him. At that point, he still isn't in love. But somehow her persistence works. He calls her later. And that sets the tone for everything that follows. Katie reaching, Hubble drifting. Later, when he leaves after their blow-up at that apartment party, she doesn't rage, she doesn't even argue. She calls him about insomnia. Oh, please. We know what that is. Her refusing to let the universe snatch back the prize she never believed she deserved. And it works, briefly. They circle back into each other's orbit. But the truth is there in every scene. Katie can roar down a crowd in politics, but with him, she shrinks. She surrenders. She rewrites her whole playbook to keep a man who was already halfway out the door. Katie loved him, no question. But love wasn't the tragedy. The tragedy was the way she bent herself into knots to keep a man she believed was already slipping away. The movie doesn't even hide it. In one of her most vulnerable moments, she blurts, "Tell me I'm not good enough. Tell me I talk too much. You don't like my perfume, my family, my pot roast." She's not just listing quirks. She's spilling every insecurity, naming every way she fears she'll never measure up. Too loud, too intense, too Jewish, too opinionated, never the graceful wife material. Hubble even tells her outright, "When you love someone, from Roosevelt to me, you go deaf, dumb, and blind." And Katie, again and again, spits back the truth in one devastating line. "It's always easy for you." That's the whole dynamic, boiled down. He coasts, she bleeds. For him, life glides. For her, every inch is a climb. Hubble? He's more flattered than deeply in love. He drifts along until commitment feels like too much. He likes Katie, admires her, is drawn to her fire. But love? That's debatable. He doesn't burn for her the way she burns for him. And that imbalance wears them down. Katie encourages him, believes in him, fuels him when he doubts his own writing. But the more she expects, the more exhausted he becomes. He admires her conviction, but can't live with it. And she, desperate not to lose him, keeps contorting herself until there's barely anything left. And then we get to that ending. The one people either swoon over or side-eye. They bump into each other in New York, Katie with her flyers, Hubble with his new wife. Katie smiles. "Your girl is lovely, Hubble. Bring her for a drink when you come." His answer? "I can't, Katie. I can't." And her soft reply? "I know." Some people call it subtle, moving. Two people honoring what was, accepting what is. Others find it frustrating, like the film dodges the real conflict that split them. But me? I think that "I can't" says it all. It's short, but it slices. Hubble knows Katie still holds space for him, and he's not about to reopen that wound. The "I can't" isn't about logistics. It's emotional self-preservation. His polite escape hatch, her quiet acceptance. Now here's the kicker. The Way We Were didn't just sell tickets, it sold feels. That theme song wasn't a soundtrack, it was a cultural chokehold. It won the Oscar, ruled the Billboard charts, and basically lived rent-free on radios across America. People who never even saw the movie knew the song. It pulled audiences in on pure heartbreak marketing. And the casting? Chef's kiss. Streisand, already a star from Funny Girl, playing a character who mirrored her real-life outspoken, unapologetic, proudly Jewish persona. Hollywood wasn't exactly handing romantic leads to Jewish women in the 70s, so this hit different. And opposite her, Robert Redford in his golden boy prime. If Streisand was the soul, Redford was the fantasy. Together, box office dynamite. But let's be honest, audiences in the 70s were primed for tragic romance. They didn't want fairy tales, they wanted ache. And this film delivered ache, even if the politics got watered down. Fun fact, Streisand actually had a crush on Redford during filming. Director Sidney Pollack even admitted it. Barbara was delighted because she had a crush on him. Redford, ever the golden professional, kept it distant, famously saying, "Anything I tell you about myself will be volunteered, not because you think you have a right to know it." Translation: thanks, but no thanks. But here's where it gets juicy. For decades, fans wondered why the breakup felt so abrupt, why Katie's politics seemed muted, why the emotional gut punch was a little thin. Turns out, key scenes were cut. Streisand herself called them the crux of the film and held onto them in her personal vault. Finally, on the 50th anniversary Blu-ray, those scenes got restored. One shows Hubble standing by Katie when she's accused by HUAC, only for Katie to realize she has to divorce him to save his career. Another shows her at UCLA, seeing a young activist mocked the way she once was, breaking down in tears as she recognizes how far she's drifted from her fire. Those moments gave the breakup backbone, politics, principle, and identity colliding. Without them, the split feels sudden and shallow. So, was it timeless romance, masterful marketing, or just a 2-hour highlight reel of a woman bending the universe to keep a man who'd already checked out? Maybe all three. For some, The Way We Were will always be the ultimate tragic romance. For others, it's really The Way She Wish, a love story written in one heart, with the other mostly along for the ride. Because if you strip away the nostalgia filter, the truth stings. She projected an ideal, he coasted on charm, and the imbalance doomed them. Even when all signs screamed, this will end in tears. Katie was willing to break herself to keep Hubble. Hubble? He was never going to fight to keep Katie. And maybe that's why we keep asking, decades later, wait, what are we missing here?